Okay, continuing watching this about the death by computer on the Air India crash. Okay, some of the people commenting. Yeah, well, I know lots of people have their trucks all nice and pretty and clean, but that doesn't mean they know how to keep it operating real well. Okay, um, a nice and clean environment uh, is nice. But no, I'm not in a. My wife's an accountant, but no, she put stuff away. She couldn't find the charger for a massager last night. Oh yeah, yeah. Wow. Does cleaning houses? I don't know how she.
Investment is critical to our future. It's critical to our standards of living and so many things. My new financial project is
Advertisements. Anyway, I'll do a little bit longer one here too. Yeah, the rat will deploy. Okay, we know that. Why did the rat deploy? This is the big question. Okay. Other reasons why. Why? My take on this whole thing, too, do we actually learn? Most of us carry a spare tire in a vehicle and a jack. Why? Yeah, a lot of the big trucks just rely on the mobile repair now. An odd one still carries an odd tire that has to be mounted, and you can do that out in the bush with no proper equipment. Most people don't know how to do that either. Okay, but mobile repair isn't that great idea for an airplane. Why? And I knew a aviation mechanic one time, way up in Yellowknife. They told me an interesting story. Why they're working on trucks now? Well, they were told to sign off on an aircraft. What? Yeah. He said at least the truck could maybe be towed in or have mobile repair. Yeah, well, and don't tell me it doesn't happen. Okay? Because it does. People are being pressured. Sign off. Push it out the door. I've seen it lots in the trucking industry. Okay? So, hey. Hydraulic failure. Apparently there was an engine that was placed on this airplane, but that's back in March. The fuel conditioner, magnesium type product, that's more in hot, humid weather. I happened to meet a fella, middle age. He grew up in that area. He said only 6 kilometers from this crash site. So I will talk to him more. He works in a convenience store here. Okay, he was quite interested in discussing this with me too. I want to know why parachutes are not on the top. Hey, not funny, is it? They can push military equipment out the back of a plane. The Swiss guy, I should find his YouTube, did a take on having different designs of planes. People were commenting, but some of the comments in here about the plane not being nice and clean, well, okay. But that doesn't mean they didn't take care of the fuel. And I don't know, I'll check what the humidity was. I know it's hot. But the fungus type mold grows in the fuel tanks in hot, humid weather. Okay, not hot, dry weather. So what was the humidity? Okay. And the plane was previously used. Yeah, sitting long extended period on the waiting to take off, that could cause vapor lock. Okay. So it could be a combination factor. They're kind of saying ruling out terrorism. I think that's a little bit early to say that. Okay. My take on it yesterday, thinking after talking to people a little bit, is whatever happened to the Malaysian airline? Did they find it finally in the ocean? How come it was altered course or whatever? Who took control of the plane, maybe? Okay. Was it controlled through cyber security? Isn't just in financial. Okay. Is this another take why Trump left early? Hey, Calgary, Alberta here, having the G7 summit. There was protests, I saw it yesterday, protesting about the Indian Prime Minister. If they would have done that for the Canadian Prime Minister, they probably would be in jail. They were chanting his name, hoping him to die. What? Oh boy. Maybe that's another reason. Don't tell me Calgary, Alberta airspace is so secure. We have Chinese pilots apparently training just north of Calgary, Alberta at Penhold. Okay? I don't know if they're still there or not. What? We got things right in Canada. And the U.S. president left early. I think there might be some more to be said about this. Years ago, they walked on with the bombs or tried to get the bombs in the plane. They got more ways to detect stuff to try to prevent that. They had to put locked doors on the cockpit. Okay, more security because of hijacking and everything else. Okay. Plane crashes. We know that one missile took out the one Air India plane the one time. Okay, just happened to be over a war zone, but India is at war with Pakistan. Apparently, a lot of people are fleeing Iran now, going to Pakistan or some of these other countries. Okay, don't tell me. And who is the new owner? They talk about the new owner here a little bit. Who is the new owner? How come it was apparently contracted out to maintenance to a Turkish company? Okay, maybe the new owners are from Turkey, huh? Okay, who's the new owners? They're not being said. Okay, lots of questions yet to be answered on this. I lost one stewardess. Get her picture on here.
Hey, how about you? You want to play me one-on-one?
This is advertisements. Yeah, we just click that off in a minute there. Okay. Air India, this is an East Indian fellow quoting this one. Different YouTubes here. Okay. Here's the steward.
You probably saw the tragic incident of the Air
He has
India
a more different take
1715 departing
from a stewardess aspect. I guess a lot of people are concerned about the seating, huh? They want to near the doors, okay? Well, you want to deal with some of the theology, huh? How come the earthquake shook the doors of when the apostles were put in jail, in prison? Well, gee, maybe they're trying to do his will. Most of us kind of just block that whole out. Okay. Maybe we'll hear more of why that one person managed to get out. Okay. Another thing is, they didn't check, I guess, for 2 days. They found a stewardess in the back of the plane. Well, maybe she had survived it, but later on died from her injuries. But they didn't check for 2 days. Okay? I'm kind of wondering, too, why couldn't they dump fuel, have so much fuel on board. Well, I guess they didn't have much time to do that and didn't have much elevation. So, yeah, fully loaded with fuel. That's not a good idea. Fire suppression. I don't know how much. Can they not have different things on these planes to suppress the fire more? I would think possibly. But my take also is having know a little bit about gyrocopters. One guy worked at it in Saskatchewan. And politics is the military wanted something to totally hover, U.S. military. The gyrocopter company in Salt Lake City may be used as a demonstration during the Winter Olympics. And later on, company almost folded. Now they're built in China. Why? They had home-built kits. You had to get around the FAA approvals. How come there's no cameras on the bottom side of the plane in Washington, D.C. that hit the helicopter? They had a warning only, traffic, but didn't know where the traffic was. They're being told to trust the tower. Previous plane got hecked for circling around, didn't trust them. Well, pilot's dead, so we'll blame the pilot. Okay, that's easy out, isn't it? Okay. How come the Canadian plane rescued American off Antarctica in the middle of the winter? And I know for a fact, I talked to the daughter, Boric Air. Not everything on that aircraft was totally FAA approved. Her father was putting equipment on the plane because they were working in cold northern climates. Okay, and the American FAA approved knew it. Okay, lots of politics in this stuff. Okay. How come there's no... Gyrocopter has self-rotation. They made the new helicopters apparently to disconnect the gearbox and the engine. If there's problems with that gearbox or engine, can be self-rotation. They had forward motion. A big gyrocopter blades, if released, would be rotating to help keep it in the air longer. You think this whole thing through. They're relying on everything on the plane to work 100% all of the time. The only safety, they got the rat. It dropped down. Well, that gives them extra electrical for some controls and some hydraulic controls. It does not help the plane stay in the air longer. Just before crashing, if they deployed big parachutes front and rear, wouldn't even have to interfere with the big gyrocopter blade. There's an opportunity for small companies, I think, here. Maybe I should go to WestJet in Calgary, Alberta. Okay. Hey, am I going to get paid anything? No, probably not. Just like Gutenberg didn't get paid for the printing press, they took it out from underneath him, took it to London, England, and what printed the King James went around the world in 1611. Watch King James, the YouTube about 1611, okay? Acts 1611 just happens to be, the mountain just happens to be 1,611 meters high. This one guy just happened to get out of the plane. Well, hey, we live in a fallen world. Are we, all of us, prepared to meet our Maker? We will all stand before the King one day, whether we want it or not. Okay? Admit it or not. Two wrongs banged together, and we have everything? Yeah, right. You actually believe that? You know, a little statement is no atheists in foxholes getting shot at. Most people take his name in a very derogatory way. Canada? Oh, a big deal if you say the F-bomb. Oh, UK has more sense of humor about it. They named KFC FCK. Okay. But you take God's name in vain? Hey, better not take Allah's name in vain or Muhammad's name in vain. Hey, they might take your head off in some countries. But no. What's going on here? Okay? We don't want to acknowledge stuff. We turn this, and then this girl calls it, just got lucky. Okay. If you believe in the false god of luck, I don't. Most people say they're not superstitious, but nobody wanted locker number 13 in high school. I had it all through high school. Everybody knew it was my locker. No questions asked. Most people say they're not superstitious, but they don't want a black cat crossing them paths or under their ladder. Okay? Yeah. Just in case. Just in case. Just in case. Psalms 90. Let's go there. Want to fly? You want to fly safely? Psalms 90. What does it say? Psalm 68. The chariots. Hey, chariots of fire. I didn't know what an aircraft was. Chariots of fire. 20,000 angels. And the Lord is with them. As in Sinai. It doesn't say this is about. It's making a comparison. As in Sinai. Okay. Thou hast led captivity captive. The rebellious also. Paul didn't want to deal with that one. He had enough problems when he used this statement in Ephesians 4, is it? Hey, Samson was rebellious too. His parents didn't like him being outside with these pagan wives like Solomon. Lots of problems. One wife at a time. You get enough problems with one wife at a time. Yeah, my wife. There's my wife, Filipino wife now. Yeah, people said what? Oh, you just want some little Filipino girl to look after you. Well, tell me a guy that doesn't. Okay? But she almost died 6 months after she got here. I met her in Hong Kong. I was there twice. Okay? There's her grandson. She has only one son. He doesn't even know his Filipino father. I was the rotten stepdad. Oh, that's a whole issue. He had an issue with his own mother. Yeah. He grew up in the Philippines more. Her mom would go back from Hong Kong once a year to see her son, supporting her parents. Okay? I had to deal with this. Now he talks to me. Why? He's got a grandson now too, so now he knows the issue. And my wife has to talk to the daughter-in-law. What else is new? Okay. Anyway, Psalms 90. We fly away. I don't think it's really talking about airplanes. I don't think I will have to worry about the 787 crashing here. We fly away. When? Hey, we're not 100% sure. The guy, Hamilton, Ontario, Count to Omar, well, Pentecost happened, and Ascension happened 1997 years ago. We're coming up to the end of the 2000, and every 1,000 years. Where'd the menorah go? My wife moved her menorah. Where did it go? She got her other Roman candle, I call it, is three twisted together, just like a blowtorch. Where'd the menorah go? Oh, there's one on this calendar here. 7 candles. Enoch was in the first 1,000. Jesus, Yeshua, is referred to as a servant candle, the center. The one on the right-hand side, number 20 there, it occurred already, 1st century AD, prior to the tribulation of Nero, where the next event. And notice 7 candles, Revelation 21 and 28. New beginning. Revelation 21. New heaven and new earth. New Jerusalem just happens to be the size of our present high technology of the size of the moon, within 10%. Isn't that ironic? How did John know that? Just gives the dimensions in there. Whoop, just dropped the book. Okay. Yeah, you see the messy floor, everything here. We're trying to move out of here. Trying to maybe have a small little daycare. Look after a few kids. We gonna have a spare bedroom. It's gonna cost us a lot to move in there. Well, maybe we can do a little function, a little barbecue out the back. Can't do nothing. This is our humble abode here. Okay? Not nice and neat and tidy. Okay, I'm being in nice, neat and tidy vehicles, and the guy was doing what? With the kids in the car, texting while driving. Hey, I maybe I'll look at it. I don't reply to it. Okay, I'll pull over. Okay, I maybe answer, yeah, we're not supposed to. But the police, hey, that's okay. They can play on their computers all they want while they're driving. Not a good idea, Mr. Police Officer. Hey, some of them are sleeping behind the photo radar camera, doing personal work, or catching a little power nap because they worked. The guy shouldn't have told me he was a police officer. I was fixing his garage door. I took over that business. The guy went to Vancouver Island. His dad was out there. Hey, his parents wants to see the kids more. He's only 50 years old with a little Haitian girl. Okay, starting another family. Hey, it happens. Jacob was 77 years old when he married Leah. Left 7 years later with Rachel, both wives, and Joseph, and all the sons. Okay, subtract 7 years. Okay, doesn't say if he had to wait. He had 2 wives. 1 wife at a time is enough problem. No, you can't nail them down to the floor like a Christmas tree. You think it's just a little ornament. Really. There's no sheep in the high country of Israel in December. Understand Hanukkah. Yeah. Okay. We send the young ladies around the world. Yeah. How old's... Okay, I hope this young lady... Okay, get to see the world. Yeah. Some of the stewardess jobs are pretty demanding. I guess she's having trouble maybe with people demanding to be by the
Gatwick that happened in the last few days. This flight crashed shortly after takeoff on June 12th, 2025. It had 2...
Come on. That's her employment. How many flights do some of these pilots and girls take? Hey, maybe she'll meet a nice young pilot, okay? Hopefully he's not married with other kids. Okay, all kinds of problems. How come in Greenland some of them have kinky hair? They have American fathers and grandfathers. Afro-American. My wife's niece is in the UK. She doesn't care for her sister's Jamaican brother-in-law. You're not the one that married him. What are you worried about? Okay. My wife almost died in the Peter Lougheed Hospital here. I was the one looking after her. I play around with making stuff and trying to make stuff safer and better, but sometimes I get really disgusted with myself even trying. Maybe I'll go work at the famous Calgary Stampede for a little cash money. You want to see my mugshot? Okay, show you my mugshot. Okay, we don't have to look at person all day long. Hey, I should find my glasses. The bright lights are bothering my eyes, so Yeah, I passed the eye test in the morning. Okay. Yeah, for my girl made a comment, probably wouldn't pass my truck license. Okay, I'm trying to do a few things. Cat the other day was looking at the bright sun laying in the shade, but his eyes was looking at the bright sun. Yeah. Animals that close their eyelids, it forms kind of purple pink dots under your eyelids. The thinnest skin on our body, I guess. They use it in racehorses rather than surgery. A lot of seniors are not making that good a recovery from surgery. I'm cut right to the middle. Almost died. Yeah, hard to prove it was chemical blood poisoning from the farm. One neighbor, my brother-in-law, kind of knows what happened. One guy shot himself in the car. I actually sold him. You're losing a family farm. The marriage went down the toilet. Okay. My ex-wife ended up with two younger sisters, all married professional people. And she's married to an ex-farmer trying to drive truck with health problems. Well, good luck. That didn't go too well, did it? I got 8 grandkids. Almost shut it off. There, got it going again. Switch it back over to, you don't want to see my mugshot. Okay? Put the dark glasses on. Okay? Am I goofing around a little bit? Yeah, I guess so. At least discuss about things like the pilots discuss things. Maybe the stewardess discuss things too, no doubt. Okay? There. Okay. Yeah. I got 8 grandkids. This is my stepson's son, my wife's present wife. Present wife, hey, no guarantees. She almost died 6 months after she arrived in Canada. Okay, I met her in Hong Kong. Australian banker, young guy, needed a diploma, but how did he get to be head of ING for all of Southeast Asia? Well, years later, I find out his grandfather had a castle in England. He's practically royal family. A lot of the politicians are somewhat connected. Yeah, some in Canada like the monarchy. Why? They're connected. Somehow they're connected.
142 people on board, and
Okay. Hey, there's a nice lady for you. Maybe she'll entertain you a little bit, huh? Okay. Pilots get lonely. Why do you think they're doing YouTubes? Stuck in a hotel room, or they leave their jack. You do some YouTube, huh? Yeah. It's demanding. It's very demanding, I believe. Okay, you're sitting around. It's like the trains. They sit around, and all of a sudden they want my son to take a 2-mile-long train out with no conductor on. Okay? He's on call. Couldn't even come and see me at the resort area. Okay? He's on call. Yeah, I hope. He's got my only granddaughter. They hardly ever call me. Maybe they'll see this YouTube. Hey, people say, go back. I worked all summer, one summer in Regina, Saskatchewan. Took less pay and everything. I saw the grandkids once all summer. They never call me unless they got a problem. Everything must be okay. They don't call me when they got a serious problem. Girl hitchhiked to her brother's funeral in Lethbridge, Alberta. Said she'd never hitchhiked before. Yeah, she was concerned. Hey, I used to hitchhike back and forth to see my sons. But they come to Calgary, Alberta. They don't even call me when they're here. Unless they got a problem. His vehicle broke down east of Calgary here. Hey, I took the day off and got him. It cost me money and time. Yeah, I didn't get paid for even for loading the semi. It cost me time and money, but I went and got them.
Only one.
But they seem to have very selective memories. How many friends pretend they have dementia? They don't remember the people that helped them make the money. Okay. Right. They have real good memories when somebody owes them. Oh, yeah.
The passenger sitting at 11 Alpha.
Yeah, okay. Talk about this. Talk about the Israeli war with Iran now. And some think, well, why are you attacking Iran? Well, who was supplying the other countries? And you think there's not concern? Oh, peace and safety? Ha. It just means cease fire for a moment. We're going to reload. Until what? Until they have nuclear? Maybe Pakistan has nuclear. Maybe from North Korea. Okay. But every little dictator country's in the UN. Oh, yeah. Great idea. Yeah. California has as much population as Canada. Nigeria has 5 times the population of all of Canada. Hey, Alberta would have a separate vote on the UN, and we're a separate country. Switzerland does. Switzerland's more landlocked than Alberta. What? And what's the population in Switzerland? It's only about 4.5 million or something, I think. About the same population of Alberta, Canada. But we're being told by our CBC state, and most of them are sold out, right here at City Hall. We don't, unless you're there. Guy argued with me yesterday. He said, well, they're busy. How busy playing golf? I never see the pastors down there. It says to be, pray for our leaders. Okay. I don't live in Ottawa. Councillors went down there. Huh. Taxpayers' dime. Oh, there's another thing. We're about 1/10 the size of New York. And we're spending how much on an underground tunnel? Now it's ballooned to $6.5 billion. Now they're talking of going ahead with it again. Underground tunnels for the train. Really? They use cable cars in Colombia and Bolivia and other countries in South America. And you don't have to just go up a mountain for a ski slope just outside of Calgary, Alberta. Hey, they know how to do this stuff. We can go around town. We can go out to the outlying areas with cable cars. You don't have to have another railway track downtown. Not every railway track in every city even goes downtown. But they got this mindset here in Calgary, Alberta, that every rail track must go through the downtown. The province didn't even know they weren't going to take it to the new South Hospital. Really? Who do you think told them? The right hand doesn't even know what the left hand is doing. You're putting parking tickets on a vehicle, but they don't have access to the police files. Guy had to go find his own vehicle, got the parking tickets in the mail. The landlord here. I got issues with him. He was supposed to put in a deck to barbecue. The kitchen is way too busy. Okay? Stepson moved to San Diego. We had to move out. He rented it out. His mom dragged the feet and didn't. And it was stuck way up in the northwest. The place we're moving to now is very close to the mall, very close to the LRT. So yeah, should be not a bad place to operate, to look after a few extra kids, have a function in the evening, do some YouTube and some discussions. The preachers aren't discussing it. They never ask you what you hardly even work at. Do they ever find out and give you a tip? Hey, so-and-so is looking for such and such. Well, unless they do, give the person a tip that told you. I did that to a Filipino lady in a little town we were living in when Calgary, Alberta was flooding. About 2013. Okay. Now they're talking, hey, could be heavy rains coming in the area again. Okay. The rivers, the water's coming down, the trees are cut back, the sun gets on and the rain, heavy rains brought all the snow down at once.
As a flight attendant, I feel the responsibility to talk.
Okay. Responsibility to talk. She wants to share. Hey, she's sitting in a motel room by herself. Come on. Drive around, fly around the world. I flew to Korea on the way to Australia to land. They wouldn't even let me out of the airport to look around in South Korea. I was kind of annoyed at that. Like, well, let me go. Got grounded in San Francisco. They didn't even tell me why. Alaskan Airlines drove one right into the ocean. I came very, very close to being on. They grounded the entire fleet. Okay, how come they don't ground more of these 787s? At least the older ones, until they figure out what went wrong here. I think maybe they know more than they're saying to us. Huh? Nah, something like 9/11. The guys down there, tourist guys, got totally paranoid when I asked them about building number 7. A police officer here in Calgary, Alberta said something. Oh, conspiracy theories. I looked at him. I said, you don't remember being on BBC News when you were a kid in the UK? He didn't say anything more. Yeah, what is the real truth? What is the real truth? Okay? Hey, how come the pastors never, hardly ever, one guy, more of a teacher, was questioned, and he went around and around. He never really answered this question. Matthew 27. And the graves were open, and many bodies of saints which slept arose and came out of the grave. No, they didn't just roll up and then roll up the head. After his resurrection, and were into the holy city, and appeared unto many. They make movies about zombies. Why? They're trying to discredit this. They tried to pay the guards off to say his body was stolen. Okay, they got that kind of through enough that a lot of people believe. And the former Islamic guy says, well, he didn't really die. He says he was run through with a Roman spear. He didn't die. Is he just a good guy? Claimed what? He's an out and lunatic, or he is who he says he is, and came in the middle of the 7,000 years. Where are we at now? We're coming to the close of 6,000 years since his death and resurrection. Pentecost happened prior to the tribulation of Nero. What are most people teaching? Oh, he only came once as a babe in the manger. Perry Stone thinks he should have Christmas again. Oh, it's the only time the world recognizes Jesus Yeshua as a little baby. Do they want to recognize him as king? Okay? No. He came every 1,000 years. Psalm 68. He was with the 20,000 chariots. Okay? Goes on and on and on. We got all kinds of information. Tractors stuck in mud. Hey, I've been there. Maybe not quite that bad. Tried to yank it out with my 4x4 service tractor. Jerked a little too hard on the tow rope. Get some little stretch. And the guy with the cat broke the tow rope. I just yanked the back bumper right off. I think there's a little bit of a clickbait there. Okay. I really don't believe that you got that many tires on the tractor. You break the axles right off. Okay. A little bit of clickbait there. Okay. You click on to see what's going on. Okay. So much stuff. It was clickbait. Guy last night. There was a big cloud north. I talked to a guy. Maybe became around on the bypass here, sitting in a coffee shop. He got out of the area up north. Looked like heavy rain, could be hail. The guy put clickbait out, but he didn't mention the towns or anything. People commented, no rain here, no heavy hail here, no down in Montana. A guy had called me this morning. They lost their little orchard down in Montana, I guess, from the... So, yeah, you hear from other people, yeah, it happened. So, no, it's not just clickbait. Yellowstone has always had troubles, but the one time the park rangers said the buffalo are running to the summer grazing ground. No, the summer grazing ground is in the park, in the high country. Hey, we used to stop there, truckers going through, go snowmobiling for an hour or two. It was enjoyable. Take a little break. No, now you want them sitting in the middle of nowhere, or rush through Chicago in the middle of rush hour traffic on icy highways. Well, you can't take a break? Get up at midnight and drive through. Okay? No. You're supposed to sit there for 10 hours and then, go into LA in the middle of rush hour traffic. The American truck drivers told me. The inspection station will be open later. One guy was totally shocked. You're going right to the LA docks? The American trucks don't. He says it's going to take you all day, and it did too. But no, when I went down the hill, the inspection station was not open. Yeah, we're pushing our luck. What? Drive down 20K down a main street because the electronic logbook wasn't recording while I'm driving. Yeah, safety? It's all double talk. Okay? Don't tell me you can't make this stuff safer. You know what the real problem is? The love of money has caused the love to wax cold. But what do they teach? Oh, it's somehow all in the future. It's a dietary thing on a future third temple. Really? Covetousness, materialism. Those that have the most toys win. Win what? How much? You don't see a U-Haul behind a hearse. These super rich are cryogenically frozen, can be resurrected by man when they solve the medical problems. Hey, I don't believe it. We're going to be resurrected. I'll trust the one that gives me the air that I breathe, more than the money, more than the food I eat. What are we really putting our trust in? The preacher behind some pulpit, going around the world? Too busy doing what? And because of iniquity, see? You want to read these other versions? Really? Just says lawlessness? Yeah, I got it right here. Okay, let's get it here. Okay, here it is here. This is another, the love of many, lawlessness. What, the laws of the land? Will multiply. The love of many grow cold. No, wax is cold. How does wax on a candle turn cold? It's gone too far away from the flame, or the flame has gone out. Wax cold. Get that in focus there? There. Matthew 24:12. An abomination. Covetousness is an abomination too. It's not just a repeat of Second Temple. Okay? Stand in the holy place. What do most people perceive to be a holy place? The religious places they go to. The iniquity of his people is a stench in his nostrils. Where do you think it's from? Pew. It stinks to high heaven. They debated about got to have nice modern chairs, padded seats. The guy in the hospice knew. Okay, I'm surprised he kind of commented about that. His wife has friends at Seventh-day Adventists. At least they teach the rapture. Oh, it's not in the... No, it's not in the English Bible. It's in the Latin Vulgate. It's caught up. It's called harpazo in Greek. Strain gnats and swallow camels. I told the Adventist guy, I think there's more important issues. Okay? Like covetousness. The one guy knew. Has his fancy Filipino style little truck all decked out. Does his religious functions. And they're teaching some that can't even hardly afford to pay their rent. And got kids and stuff. Yeah, really. One guy, retired police officer. Well, I don't work for nothing, you know. Well, you give donations. You can't help a guy with kind of a joint family. They split up now too. Joint family with 12 kids. Does renovations. Let him who reads understand. This is happening now. Not in the future. This is happening now. What? Zechariah, the guy who didn't want to read it. Zechariah chapter 5. The young pastor wasn't taught in seminary. So what? He thought I was interrupting the young lady. Happened to be my wife. Arrogance? Self-esteem is just a play on the word pride. Okay? I had to leave the seminary over it. Read Dave Hunt's books. Seductionist. It was in the Adventists. They rent from the Lutherans. I talked to the Lutheran pastor a little bit about this. Okay? He kind of knew. He can't say much because his board members don't even believe Elijah went to the third heaven. What? Flying roll. Well, that sounds nice. It's a paperweight flying through the air. No. Gives the dimensions of the missiles of the museum piece of the submarine in New York Harbor. I was just like totally stunned by this. Okay. Figuring out the dimensions. Talent of lead. Well, I should look up a talent. How much is a talent? Maybe I should look that up on the computer here now. You want to do that? Okay. I only got 47 minutes yet, so let's do that. Okay. From Shinner, Iran, is where the missiles are being fired from Iran. They had a warning shot at the Saudi oil refinery across the Persian water. I believe it was just a warning shot. Okay. Had to test it. So they give Saudi a little shake up, a little rattle. The branch. Who's the branch? Well, you can read it in these other versions. Whereas my wife puts stuff away. She moves stuff around. Oh, she got a great big book, Hebrew on the one side, but says what? Some other wording, and you think, yeah, I guess that's what it's saying. No, this is very to the point, isn't it? Who's the branch? We're grafted into the vine, Romans 11. Hey, they discussed Romans 10 and 12. I was checked out the door when I dared to ask why not 11. Oh, wow. One preacher years ago said, well, there's lots in there. I said, the trouble you read what was before, maybe between, and even after. But you missed some of the points. The Lutheran guy says, do you really believe that dipping a finger in water is going to quench the thirst? You wonder why some people don't want to believe this? The guy left that kind of teaching, and now he's a JW. Okay, they teach what? Nice and peace and tranquility on the earth. Okay. Zechariah chapter 6. It's Zechariah 14. We're covering Zechariah a little bit here right now. Okay, while we're here. Okay. The saints with him. Well, the white horse. Some people want to teach that's a future Antichrist. Who is Simeon the sorcerer? And Paul confronted him. Next thing he was dead. Did Paul make a little implication of, didn't say his name directly? And next thing Paul was dead? Where? In Rome. Okay? Hey, Zachariah was keeper of cattle. How many cattle have you looked after? Do you even know how to saddle a horse? Mr. Stampede put his hat on and cowboy boots. I asked him, where's your horse? My dad used to call a horse a big Clydesdale Belgium. That was a workhorse. He says, at least you don't have to keep feeding it when you shut the tractor off. But some of the neighbors had these big workhorses. They were good for some things. You want to fence right through that water? It'll pull the tractor through the water. Okay, come on. Right up to the flywheel on an old tractor. Water flying all over the place. We were pounding posts right through the standing water. Why? Go around? What for? Go right through. If we get stuck, we'll get the horse. Tractor, just big, high row crop tractor, just kept on digging. It got through. Little tires? Nah, probably not. Okay. Feast of Tabernacles. Listed 3 times here. Okay? What? When the teacher put it on the blackboard or whiteboard, even underlined it maybe 3 times, it's on the exam. It's important. Why would he list it? One other guy even on YouTube said, if it's listed in a couple times, this is 3 times. It's important to know. But we're not taught it. Why are we not taught it? They don't want to teach it. They got a good thing going. Hey, the Hebrew groups. My wife went from one boat right to the next. Oh, she's big time into the Friday night Seder and everything else. Legalistic, Mr. Adventist. You don't even understand the high annual Sabbath. There was 2 Sabbaths a week. You'd rather have Easter bunnies and Easter eggs. What? White horse. Saints with the ambassadors are already chosen. Living waters. How are they surviving in Gaza, Mr. American? Palestinian? It's listed. Amos 1, Zephaniah 2, Gaza. They didn't even know it's in the Bible. You'll argue with them about stuff. Hey, maybe just show them it's in the Bible. They can figure it out themselves. Because we're not being told the truth, and they're not being told the truth either. What is the truth? Isaiah 29, Ravi Singer. Happened. Ariel Sharon went into 8-year coma. 8 is a number of new beginnings. Okay? Pentecost happened. I put it down. It's only about 100 days, plus or minus. I'll probably be up for how many weeks? Plus or minus 100 days. Feast of Trumpets, September 23rd. There's my number. YouTube's under my name too. Okay? 4 more months. Only 4 more months. Feast of Trumpets. Well, it's actually less. So I've had this written, so I wrote down plus or minus 100 days. September 23rd. People say, yeah, well, they did that last couple of years too. I said 2 years ago, I said, no. The April 8th solar eclipse comes first. Then last fall, I said, no. Israel is 77 years old this spring. I'm big 7-0 from my conception. On my driver's license is in December. Okay, that always caused a problem. I'm half the time not even in Saskatchewan to get in the wintertime to get my license renewed. Have to have people mail it to me or whatever. Like, that's an issue half. They wouldn't change that. Okay, no. I gotta be in Saskatchewan in the cold and get sick again. No, I wanted to stay down in my grandmother's sister in Kansas. Hey, maybe they'll see this. Maybe they'll call me. I lost track of them over the years when my grandmother died and stuff. I wanted to stay down there. I had to come back, go to school, and then I got sick anyway. Yeah, in the cold weather. I'm not a good Canadian. I don't like the cold. Why do you think most people live on coastal areas and warmer areas? Edmonton, Alberta is the furthest northern big city. It actually has a better freight route system to the west coast, through Jasper, and they let the town burn. Yeah, they wouldn't let them do controlled burns to get rid of the deadwood, and they didn't call in the big water bomber, Mr. Carney. Okay, maybe that wasn't under your watch. It was under just in time for trouble. Okay, what? What are we doing? What are we teaching? What are we listening to? Outer darkness and weeping and gnashing of teeth. No, not hellfire. They're still alive. They're not dead. The second death. See, we're taught Canaanite. Okay? How come they resurrected Lazarus on the fourth day? Because he's the resurrection and life. Don't believe it? That's another whole issue. But the preacher says, just believe and you'll never die. Then he makes a statement, of course Lazarus died again. Like what? Where are you coming from? Mr. Canaanite? I haven't been back since the ship captain went out to the west coast, the Nemo. Not very many big ships in, but he confirmed it to me. Where was the tugboats on the ship that hit the bridge in East Coast? Where were the tugboats? Where's the safety equipment on the top of the plane to keep it up? Keep it from crashing so hard. Couple big parachutes, maybe it wouldn't have hit the ground so hard. Maybe the fuel wouldn't have exploded. Maybe people would have walked away alive. Safety? Not every tire stays up all the time. If you're having too many flat tires, I told the one guy, put the sealant in. The tire shops don't like it. Well, yeah, they like to do the repairs. But he's not getting paid. How often? Flat tires, he's driving these little garbage trucks out to the disposal sites. They want 15-cent tax on the bags, but the solar panels are sitting there with no transmission line. Yeah, waiting for a potential hailstorm or a tornado to take out the solar panels. But they're upset at the province. Really? Communist Broadcasting doesn't tell us that. Yeah, CBC. We nicknamed that years ago when we were a kid. Some people, that's the only radio or TV channel they had. And what did they get? Communist Broadcasting. In Canada. Only in Canada, eh? How come they put some of these big power generation things for AI and stuff out in the boonies? They're looking at doing this in Alberta here. New power plant going in. Oh, maybe contract cheap power. But that's another reason. They don't want it in the backyard of some major urban area. So they put it off in some boonies place. Yeah. So an odd person in a little town or farmer, cows have problems. So what? We got too many cows around anyway. Hey, most of the ground is not suitable for tillage anyway. Hey, we had to pick the rocks off on little knoll hills. There's an area where north of Regina, Saskatchewan, north of the Qu'Appelle Valley, where rock pickers are developed. Yeah, we sell them into the U.S. and everything. Why? We had so many rocks you could walk across the little knoll hill. Yeah, just take a blade and dozer and push them out. That's how many rocks. Some of those rocks were huge. Blow the top off them with, what? Fertilizer and diesel fuel. Guys blew dugouts, water storage for cattle. Boom! Okay. Wonder why they made it illegal. Hey, this is farming 101, huh? Okay. Most of the preachers know nothing. The guy hardly knows even how to back up a car. I told my sons, They just showed me this computer stuff a second time. They complained. I said, let's go down to the truck stop. I'll show you how to back up the double trailers once, and then you should know how to do it. Hey. Okay. Where's this young lady from? Okay. Her biological clock is ticking too. Huh? But see, we pray for not to have kids now. Hey, this is in Israel too. How come Tel Aviv, Zechariah 13 actually, half of them taken out? How come Jerusalem 14 says Jerusalem? People say, oh, USA is not in the Bible. I differ with that. How do you spell Jerusalem? J-E-R. What does that mean? I think it means his. USA. Lem. Do you get the message? Hey. It doesn't say cars either, but they got into one Accord. Honda Accord? No, I don't think so. But USA. USA. J-E-R. USA. Lem. I had a hat with that on, and I all of a sudden realized, how do I spell Jerusalem? Just put the USA in the middle between Jer and Lamb. God's got a sense of humor too, and people say it's not in the Bible. Really? It's right in front of your eyes. Hey, you just don't want to look at it. Here, the ascension, he was not yet ascended to his Father. The ascension day. I think the Mexican Mennonites in Winkler, Manitoba had the wrong day anyway. But did I get paid for working the whole day? No. You wonder why they're nicknamed Mennonite. You wonder why they have to get them from Mexico to work. This is a problem at Tabor, Alberta, too. They're under a provincial police sheriff review, same as in Calgary, Alberta. Why? Our famous federal police force. How come Ontario has Ontario provincial police? Huh? Yeah. What? What are we taught? What do we know? Most Americans even teach school don't even know we don't have an elected Senate in Canada. Our teaching is twisted right from the pulpit. And it says the teachers shall be held more so accountable. It's no wonder a lot of people don't believe it. They see right through the garbage. The guy came out of Romanism, now he's a JW over it. Okay? Yeah, he didn't get much out of the tour in Israel. Why? They took him on the Catholic tour. We didn't go to the Catholic places. The guy even questioned the Dead Sea Scrolls. He says, you see any grass up on those hillsides? What are sheep doing up there? There's no grass there. He questioned that whole thing. I questioned it, right? I said, what? He said he will preserve it. Oh, we got to find stuff in a trash can or hidden in some cave? Hey, come on. Okay, 144,000. Mr. JW. Hey, Revelation 14, verse 4, first fruits. Hey, this happened, plural. He was the first resurrected, then others, plural. 30, 60, and 100 full return. Kind of from the farming background there, huh? Depending on what type of seed you're putting in the ground. You don't have a very good crop if you only get one back. Fruits. You shall know them by their fruits. A good tree beareth good fruit. Stop with the covetousness. And my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and turn from our wicked ways. We're pointing fingers at everybody else. But what? Are we that materialistic? Think we're going to take it with us? We're too much... We're in the world. We're too much of the world in us. We're not going to take it with us. Yeah, I guess I go back to it. I should go see WestJet in Calgary, Alberta, even if I don't get paid. Gutenberg did what God called him to do. Did he receive any benefits from it? Well, in the last days, the preachers that say don't teach making restitution are going to be the ones that are answering to the king. Okay? Why am I concerned about the railway safety? Maybe my grandkids would like to see their father come back alive. The 144,000. One guy didn't want his oldest kids to get married. What? He ran any guy out, took off, even talked to his oldest daughter until he had lots of money. Then that's okay now. Okay? These are they which were not defiled with women. Oh, must be Jewish virgins in the future. Really? It's not plan A and plan B. It's one plan. Jew and Gentile, not either or. Defiled with women will be all youthful virgins again. That's why they couldn't find Lazarus at the dinner party. He wasn't elderly anymore. Why? Couldn't recognize Jesus on the garden road. He wasn't 33 years old anymore. But voice print can be used in the courtroom. They recognized his voice. Then they knew who he was.
Inform everyone who
This young lady in her 20s. Okay, hope she has... What's going to happen this fall? Captains. Wonder how many young ladies end up with these older fellows because they're never home. Wife that's taken off, so they end up with who? Hey, it happens. Young lady in Philippines, 50 years difference with the guy flying around in a helicopter in Texas. Happened here, Calgary, Alberta. I said to my wife at the funeral, there's going to be a court case over this one. Okay, a few family members from the first marriage. Hey, he outlived his wife. There's no guarantees. My dad outlived my mother. He was old enough to be my grandfather. My dad was 45 years old when he had me. And I didn't know his formal name was Henry. People called him Harry. I called him Dad. It's relationship, Mr. J.W. And young ladies want to have, young friends want to have birthday party with their friends, but don't tell their parents, hey, learn Hanukkah. Mary met Elizabeth. That's a conception. Stop with the Greek birthdays, Mr. Seventh-day Adventist. You want to be so technical about your particular seventh-day Saturday, but you do what? Have Christmas trees and Easter bunnies and celebrate Greek birthdays. But then you pat yourself on the back about the fourth commandment. The 10th commandment is covetousness. Okay? And you do what? I got thrown right out the door when I brought up about Passover rather than Easter. Yeah. How many churches and places, synagogues, synagogue of Satan? You take your brother to court? Paul talked a little bit. It's a religious place, okay? Should be able to straighten it out. But no, the pastor didn't want to straighten out nothing. Why? The family's giving
me is also
well associated, so he just covers it over. And I go down the road with nothing. 9 months or 8 months to get the paycheck. Federal interprovincial trucking. Hey, Mr. American, you wonder why the northern states don't have much industry? The freight rates in and out of Montana and stuff is more than Winnipeg, Manitoba. Why? The Canadian trucks cannot drop south of the border and pick up south of the border. So what do you got? You got empty trucks running all the way from Canada to Arizona for the produce. Yeah, empty trucks. I wondered why. One guy finally told me. He says it hardly covers the extra fuel he buys. They're wasting time in Canada. Just head to the border. The American trucks, no, they put some weight in the back end because they get blown off the road here south of Calgary, Alberta. The wind warning's up. Okay? We're running all the way to Arizona empty, Mr. Environmental. Change the law some. That's why there's not much manufacturing. There's Fargo, North Dakota, Steiger Tractor had a 2 at the plant. Later on, they built it for Ford. It was painted blue. I had one. Okay, why did I want that one instead of the Winnipeg, Manitoba red one? Yeah, the one in Winnipeg only went 14 mile an hour down the road. Yeah. The big V8, not hard in fuel. You don't rev it up in the fuel like, got to have that front. Same as a truck. Back out of it. Okay? Do you have to get that extra 5 mile an hour pushing that headwind? Back out of it. Oh, now? Computer logbook's running out. They don't have any time to even stop and have a SSS. You know what that means at all? I think the truckers listening maybe know what it is. No buffet. You phone ahead for the Subway sandwich. I did some of this going down to the mine side here. Phone ahead for the sub sandwich. I pull in, check the tires, no problem, so I don't have to call the mobile tire guy. Run in, use the washroom. Sub's already paid for. Already done. Run out the door. Because my electronic logbook is running out. Hurry, 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 hurry. Hurry, 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 hurry to get killed. Guy was impatient for the plane to take off. I looked at him and says, if something needs fixed, let's fix it on the ground. Okay? The other guy they diverted it over American airspace. He got taken off. He was not a happy camper. Oh, he tried to avoid the American airspace. They caught him. They flagged him. My wife told me, working on the entrance, they flag. Oh, just a little glitch. No, they flagged the person. The management will decide if we get. That one guy was taken off the plane in Toronto. No, he wasn't going to Israel. Okay? But these preachers, Mark Blitz, I phoned his office, got to talk to him. No, I don't get to talk. I talked to his office staff. I found out he just got back from Israel. And he's going this fall again. Twice a year? Well, maybe somebody's paying his way. I wonder who's paying whose way. Flying around the world. These stewardesses have to put up with this stuff. Okay. Guy goes to Thailand without his wife. My Filipino wife wanted me to go to the Philippines by myself. She says, I trust you. Hey, I don't trust myself. David should have known better. But I never saw one lady on top of any rooftop. Solar panels, a little bit, a little clothing. Never saw one lady sunbathing on top of the rooftops in their liberal society. What was Bathsheba doing on top of the rooftop sunbathing? Really? She wanted a kid. I think there was a problem there. Lots of the military had problems with that. Maybe got nipped a little too short. Wasn't just a hand that went missing. Hey. That's why her husband Uriah didn't go back to see her. There was already problems with the marriage. Let's get it straight.
And aviation enthusiasts.
Okay. Hour and 14 here. 11, almost noon here. Okay. I don't know what's going to happen here today. I'm going to call this a quits today. And I need to go to the washroom. You don't have to listen to me going to the washroom. Stepson even did that. Phone while he was sitting on the can. What? Sorry. I want privacy sometimes. Okay, September 23rd. There's my phone number. Aaron says, what? But no, he insists that people email him. What? Says he wants to learn. Talk is cheap. Okay? Pre-trib already happened, Mr. American. Okay? Other people from war-torn countries and stuff don't seem to have quite as much problem coming out of this pre-trib Jesuit. I believe it was Jesuits that pushed that all into the future. Things happen over the years. Where's the menorah? There. 7 candles. Where are we at in history? Cain and Abel. Remember that was in the garden? I think Adventists have a little bit of teaching about that. Can we not learn from others? Doesn't mean we follow them, get in their boat. The ark is sinking. Noah and Lot are in context. The opposite the building is tearing down. It's in context with Lot. And what are they doing? And they both died after their events. They need resurrected. Well, what do we got with Canaan teaching? Oh, just believe and you'll never die. Really? Back to Lazarus again. Lazarus walked with Jesus. He believed. That's why he was resurrected. Maybe there was a reason why that one guy got out the door. Like, why did the door fly off? Some pictures says just the door already was taken off the plane. Hey, maybe an angel ripped the door off and dragged him out of the plane. Maybe he won't realize that until years later, too. Many are called, but few are chosen. The latter state of the person is worse than the first. Why? We turn around and think we can do whatever we want. Okay? Many are called, but few are chosen. Is the guy called? It says many are called. Maybe that's why he got out of the plane. But we wouldn't want to suggest something like that in an atheistic society. That's a little too much. Hey, I made it with a car all the way to Winnipeg, Manitoba, from Regina, Saskatchewan. It was starting to get dark. Had extra batteries. It was an electric car. Alternator wasn't. I tried to get it fixed. Couldn't get it to charge. Guy came out of a gas station, opening up his pocket knife, asked me a question. I told him what was wrong. It's not charging. He peeled back the extra wire on the Toyota. He says it's corroded. It won't charge. We replaced the wire. It started charging. Well, I don't need the extra batteries. He pulled up to the gas pumps, gave me gas, trade for the batteries. Years later, tried to find this gas station.
But also to give
People told me that station has been closed for years. What? But I got to see Dave Hunt. He's in Winnipeg, Manitoba, only once. Had coffee with him. No. Maybe there's a reason why that guy got taken out of the plane. Angels all around us. Yeah. Why was the door flung open or tore off the plane? Why weren't the other ones taken off? Many are called. Why was the doors open? The chains set free when Peter was in the jail. Hey, he got out of the water, didn't he? On the boat. He got out of the boat. He got dunked again. What are we taught? Oh, just once is enough. Really? Even as an infant. Lots of them being 1,400 in Oklahoma. I heard other places getting dunked. That's the Holy Spirit power. Guy has a teaching about Holy Spirit power. But he wouldn't dunk me out of Chestnut Lake just the week before. Wouldn't do it. He was reluctant to do it in Israel. I already talked to him why some were getting at the resort area. Why? Because they got heckled at the Jordan, a more traditional place, by their own Jewish community. People were coming in there, they wanted to know. Yeah. But people were so afraid to talk to anybody. Afraid. Was Peter afraid? Not after he got dunked again, he was bold. He was nipped the guy's ear off before that and gave him a haircut. I think his head would have come off. Yeah, he's just real spontaneous reaction there. But later on, Peter was bold. Ought to obey God rather than man. What are we afraid of? What are we doing? Oh, the one guy wouldn't do it. Had to ask. Philip didn't have to ask Peter's permission or others' opinion back in Jerusalem. He just dunked the Ethiopian. He dunked him. Then he was taken by the Spirit. Do you hear what God is saying? Are we doing the Father's will? Hey, it's unfortunate things happen. A lot of my friends are already gone, but they will be resurrected. Maybe this September. Many. I think most of the Revelation 7, 12 times 12 is 144,000. But what does it say later on? The great multitude. Let's go look at it. Revelation. Okay. And one resurrection, Lazarus was resurrected too. So don't take it out of context, only one resurrection. Every 1,000 years. Revelation 7. Okay. 11, 7, 7. Okay. There. Sealed, 12,000. Okay, of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Talks about 12 times 12. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude. But I personally believe that most of them are from the grave. Last 1,997 years. We're not yet 2,000. Okay, from his death and resurrection. Hey, I can't help but the Mormons got an odd thing right, but they spin how much other stuff around it. Second Adam. Okay? Learn. Don't jump from one boat to another. Get out of the boat. What does his written word say? This time is coming. Great multitude. All nations and kindreds and people and tongues stood before the throne. Okay? All people. And white robes and palms in there, and cried with a voice, salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood around about the throne. Okay, this is already happening. That's, I believe, before the marriage supper of the Lamb even. The great multitude, we're a part of that. But no, the lukewarmness is warned about. Many are called, but few are chosen. Hey, we can sit there and say our hallelujahs and play our rosaries. My wife's into the Hebrew stuff. They even change her little saying. It doesn't say anything about husband being known at the city gates. Why? They just kind of conveniently took that out. They think doing his will is sending them around the globe trotters. Okay? Guy got back from Israel. He goes on a conference to a Caribbean, in the U.S. on a Caribbean cruise boat. Gets back from Ottawa now. Ecumenical function. Then he denies it. I said, it's online. Why do you deny it? I talked to the one lady, thought she had an out-of-body experience. Says, well, some of them think they see Santa Claus too. We can be deceived. He says, blessed are those that believe. Doubting Thomas wanted to see the handprints, the nail. Some people don't want to even teach that. They're watching the movie, the Filipinos, and no, my wife didn't grow up with TV. She couldn't watch Passion of Christ being the nail pounded in. It's a movie. It's not real. But Doubting Thomas wanted to see the scars and the side. But Jesus said, blessed are those that believe and have not seen. Why? Great deception we're warned about. Holograms. Not everything is real. We saw a hologram at Shiloh coming down, but the pastors don't want to discuss it. They saw this. The Filipino guy never talked to me for 2 weeks even. Why? Because, hey, figured this out from the Nigerian guy. His wife's Filipino. A lot of the Filipino guys don't like us foreigners. It's a ticket out of the country for the girls. This young lady's probably American. Probably. The Americans tend to be more religious than Canadians. Canadians lean big time more so to atheism. Why? What were we bombarded with CBC? Communist broadcasting. Excuse me, but it sounds like a lot of them are talking with those folks on what? Because it stinks to high heaven. And they talk like that. Okay, we need to. Canadians buy more insurance than anybody else in the entire world. Why? We talk the talk, but we don't often walk the walk. Live in fear and bondage. Oh, we wouldn't want to protest against the government here. They hung that one guy in Regina, Saskatchewan, 1880. Yeah. Not the last war, 1812 in Quebec. That was the British and American forces. Okay? What happened April 8th, 2024? The solar eclipse crossed where it crossed in 1811, just only 200 years after 1611. Do the flight map. It's not totally round. That's why it's shorter across Iceland and Greenland. It's not totally round. But don't go to the other extreme of thinking it's flat Earth. The volcano in Tonga Tonga stayed more in the southern hemisphere, Australia. Down here, okay? Down here. Where's Australia? I was there once. Little penguins at Melbourne, way down here. 4 hours sailing to Tasmania, Mr. BC. The ferry was a white elephant before it got off the ground. Only how many saving? 20 minutes saving to Vancouver, BC. It's not long enough. Tonga Tonga stayed in the southern hemisphere. If it goes off in Indonesia, see, it could go either way, depending on the wind. Okay? But it stayed here. Flooding is in the coastal areas. Australia, more hot, dry country, it had record crop yields. Why do you think the price of grain is down? I thought there was supposed to be a shortage of grain because of the Ukraine war. Look at the size of Ukraine. Okay? Hey, they have lots of good. Kiev is on the river. The Belarus soldiers, when they came across the border, they knew about Chernobyl. The Russian soldiers young soldiers didn't even know anything about it. And the Belarus soldiers, I believe we're not going in there. They went home. We're not going into Chernobyl area. We're not. They knew about it. What? Where's the merchants? Kiev, on the river. That's the Jewish Hebrew community. And when they start learning about Jesus, Yeshua, guess what's happening? It happened in Spain, 1492. What? When the Jews starts learning about Jesus, Yeshua, we're taught no odd law. Well, that's all old-fashioned. Really? That's not what the Bible says. Okay? They had the Spanish Inquisition happening. What's happening here now? What's on the western side? And way back in history, the split between the Orthodox and Romanism. Huh? Where's the dividing line? You think this has nothing to do with it? And the price of grain is down? So much for flat earth. Okay? So much for the book of Enoch. Joel Richardson wants to warns people not to use the book of Enoch because it's not good doctrine. It's not part of the Bible. It mentions just Enoch. Well, it mentions a Honda Accord too. It's not talking about a car, is it? One Accord. Okay, oh, that's a nice term. I make a joke about it. But you think you can use the book of Enoch to justify your post-trib Jewish view? Well, see, they think they're going to be resurrected from the Mount of Olives. Mr. Super Rich Jew? Do you think you're going to buy your way into his kingdom? Okay. Where are we at now? The sealed gates. Oh, okay. Maybe something's happening at the gate. Okay? And they put tombstones outside the gate. Okay? But read Revelation, Zechariah 14. The saints, the ambassadors already chosen, come with him. Are they going to be all ambassadors? I don't think so. If you're an ambassador, do you get to vote in another country? No. But the government and people know who you are. Do they really know you down at the city gates? At the city council? At the provincial legislature? At the state legislature? Do they really know, or you just put a little X mark and you feel you've done your duty? Here, this guy here. Pray for him. Watch one river. Maybe you get down by the river. Get dunked.
Power companies hate when you do this, but there's nothing they can do about it.
Oh,
There's
here
a new
you
portable
go.
cooling system that can drop the temperature in a room by up to 30 degrees.
That's nice.
In just 90 seconds.
Yeah,
And the
that's
crazy
nice.
part, it runs on barely any power.
Hey, that's kind of
Smaller
interesting.
4-hour battery cools down any room in 90 seconds and runs on just a...
Hey, we don't have as much trouble in Canada with that. You know that? Alberta gets more cool, gets heated up during the day. I don't know what the temperature was this morning. It's 22 degrees Celsius right here now. So, yeah, it's coming to June 21st, the longest day. Only 6 months more to the shortest day. Okay, we barely get warm. The ground is still cold downstairs here. See, we're just below the ground line here. The frost is probably all the way down to the ground. Could be even frozen under the floor a little bit, especially in Saskatchewan. Okay, up north it's permafrost. The floor melts it, thaws it out. The garages are sinking into the mud. They have to put them up on stilts to cold air, otherwise the building sinks into the ground. Okay, they put the pipes on top and circulate it, the hot water. Why? It'll freeze. But here we have to have it 6 feet down, not just under. Down in Mexican border, the cheap hotels don't need hot water. The other places advertise hot water. Why? The water's coming warm anyway. You don't even hardly need to heat it up. We're heating it up. We should have transfer heat going down the drain, hot water, while the water coming in is practically ice water. And a big difference. So yeah, we should learn. Get down by the river, get dunked, and the Holy Spirit power lead us. Hope he's doing okay. He's a court case. Found a lawyer right in his hometown. Isn't that ironic? God knows what he's doing. Okay? We panic. Oh, we think we need these paychecks so much. Hey, it's not your sheep, Mr. Pastor. Where's the evangelist? You put him out the door. You don't want us around. I'm not called to be a pastor. The guy in Lethbridge was giving me some static with that. I said, well, who goes out to the colonies? I said, the colonies are not even connected with colonies anymore. The guy I work with, somebody left. Why? Had to hoof it down the road with nothing. One family, they had a trailer behind their pickup truck, or maybe even from the colony. The wife told me that. Why? She's had to leave her friends. Her husband is not welcome there anymore. Why? But the guy thinks I should be a pastor. I said, I'm not called to be a pastor. Who did the evangelistic work while you went through your Hebrew garb with your beanie on and everything else? Okay? Who walked over to the famous Tim Hortons coffee? I don't even have any coffee here. Yeah, this is empty. See, that was my instant coffee. Okay. It's after 12, and I'm going to call it a quit. Hour and 35. Okay. I'll put this on again. I should have had it plugged in again. Kills my battery on the phone, you know. Feast of Trumpets, September 23rd. What's going to happen? What is going to happen this fall? Eventually the ship will come in. We're all humans. They were wrong in 1844. It doesn't mean they have everything wrong. I can't help. They're stuck back, and I believe they shipped off Ellen White to Australia. They didn't want to deal with the Christmas Easter issue. They had a major denominational split. They hid it away in 1948, like other groups. I saw a nice teaching about 23rd Psalm, and then the guy says something about Sunday. Well, I guess I know where you're coming from, buddy boy. But I think he's just paid to say these things because I think he's been on some Adventist teaching about the Sabbath. He's got a nice voice, so they hire him to read these things. Very professionally done. Yeah, sorry I'm not highly professional. I just try to get things done. Okay? Trucking and everything. No, the truck cab wasn't always nice and clean. I told them, you can clean up the air around here. The language is actually foul. Okay? Like, they think you take your truck. My truck? You mean I can sell it? No. Okay? Then you need to take your truck down to the truck wash and then to the repair shop. I'm going home. Here's a Canadian thing. Okay? Noses are special because why? They're hand-picked. Oh. Canadians scratching his nose on the outside like this. Well, maybe it's a little itchy inside. So you do this. But if you're doing this, well, the guy knew full well what I was doing when he did this. No guessing around. Okay? Because we're not supposed to say the F-bomb. Alright, Mysteries of 153. That's kind of interesting. Got a minute. That's 5 hours ago. Here's Aaron. What's he got here now? Oh, to know it. Here. Got a minute. The Mystery of the 153.
Hello everybody,
That's
my
kind
name
of
is Brother
interesting.
Darren from God a Minute. This video is for two people. It's for the Christians that want to mature in their faith and have a better understanding of why they believe what they believe. And it's for the non-Christian. If you have a friend or family member that's a non-Christian that is not saved yet, please share this video. This is a very special thing that God has left for us. I don't want anybody to miss this.
Okay, I'll maybe watch this later myself to see what he's got to say. But you see his background, and he thinks, no, stick to your knitting, Aaron. You're a musician. You're a music teacher. Maybe your wife's wanting you to get with this clickbait stuff, okay? With this donation stuff, because you got bills to pay. Well, go back to your knitting, okay? You're a music teacher. Stop pretending you're the theologian, okay? I know the music guys. The guy's very musical, comes from Moscow, I believe. His mother was a music teacher. He plays the organ and the piano at the same time. So they put him behind the pulpit. Not very good. Not good. the Nigerian lady didn't know what not good meant. I mean, the lady they found was found dead. Okay, not good. Okay? And he goes on and on and on.
This proves that Jesus is.
Pentecost happened, first century AD. The ascension happened, Pentecost happened. Okay? We're in almost to the year 2000 now, 1997 years since that. Like, come out of the pre-trib. Mid-trib, that's a lot more accurate, or call it pre-wrath. It's like a truck is a lorry. It's terminology, okay? I was pan-trib one time. I had to come out of that. I'll pan out in the end. Jesus said, be hot or cold. Get off the fence, Mr. Post-trib people. Pre-trib. Don't want to discuss it. Mid-trib or pre-wrath. We're in, and the... Here. Malachi. See, they like parts of Malachi. They say, oh, that's in the Old Testament. But they like the one part of Malachi. What part do they like? The part where it says bring the whole tithe in the storehouse? Oh, they like that part, don't they? Yeah, well, read the part in the same chapter where it talks about what? Oppress the hireling and the wages and the widow and the fatherless, and you bring this to his house? Think he will bless this? He will not bless this. This is an abomination. That's causing true love to wax cold. Okay? But they like to read this part. Will a man rob God? Okay? You better give to them because they're almighty guru. Okay? They're doing everything God wants. Yeah. Every once in a while, they show up as being human yet too. Okay? Just like David shouldn't have been doing what he was doing. In tithes and offerings. What? You're cursed with a curse. You're robbed. Bring all the tithes into a storehouse. Where is his storehouse? Heaven is his throne. Earth is his footstool. He tore the curtain top to bottom. We are royal priesthood after the order of Melchizedek. Okay? Stop with it. Offerings go to whom you believe is feeding others. And you better be feeding the sheep. And you better be beneficial after you benefit. Melchizedek was paid by Abraham after he did what he was told, after he prospered. What are they teaching? The Jewish? Behold, Elijah comes. Yeah, as I believe one of the two witnesses, Enoch and Elijah. Well, I used to believe Moses, but it's listed Moses died in 3 listings. Just because Enoch is not listed, that he didn't divide the water. Okay, what? Just because you didn't make a movie about it, Mr. American? Maybe Joel Richardson that makes movies should make a movie about that, huh? Instead of teaching your post-trib stuff. Okay? This comes after. Why? Because most of them are from the grave. Go after October, September 23rd. In October, go through the graveyard, see if there's some activity of graves being opened up. Oh, that would be a good indication that something happened, rather than listening to mainstream media that's not going to tell us the truth when a few are alive. Yeah, lukewarmness is warned about. And this is why he sends Elijah afterwards, because it's not just one event, it's 7 events. Revelation 21. After the 1,000 years. Hey, pan-trib, maybe be after the 1,000 years. The time's cut short because he needs some mortals to repopulate the planet. Hey, you look at the conflicts around the world. We have the nuclear capability to annihilate ourselves on this planet. They kind of know that. And once it starts, there ain't going to be no stopping it.
And that he died on the cross for your sins. And that the only way...
Okay. But Aaron, you need to leave pre-trib. Says, what? See, now he's got the mystery of 153. Where did he get that from? There's different teaching online talking about that. But the one guy with Truth is Christ with King James, Acts 16:11. Good teaching. But again, he's American pre-trib. The Australian guy on there understood something a little bit different than the Americans, okay? So he had a different viewpoint. The older guy was going on and on and on, and you could see the guy that was moderating the programs getting a little impatient with the senior guy. Well, I'm sorry. I got twice your age. I got a few more years on you. And one guy says he's been studying for 25 years. I've been studying for 55 years. And I'm still learning. Get over it. Where's the respect for the elders? Got to have a diploma from some higher education that teach them what? Self-esteem? Psychology is just a play on the word pride. Form of godliness denying the power. His written word warns about this. You're a music teacher. Go back to your music lessons. Make your wife happy. Happy wife, happy life. I see his wife once in a while on there. Okay, I was watching him count to Omar, just going on and on with the little Lego thing. He's quite articulate. But the problem is, how many are stumbling because you held... Now he's trying to do what? He's fishing, all right, the mystery of the fish. Okay. Why? He's fishing. He's trying to keep his ratings up. 60K.
Special, and it all revolves around the
60. He had quite a few views.
We've got the symbol of the church. It was called the ichthus. Here it is. The church. That's what the symbol was. And we're going to go through about 7 or 8 amazing points going back to the Hebrew roots.
He studies a lot. But have you got out of the Sunday boat? Hey, my wife went from the Sunday boat right into the Jewish Messianic Hebrew boat. Peter was called out of the boat. Get dunked again. See? What's being taught? Okay? Watchman River, down by the river. Get down the river. I had to dunk myself out at Chestermere Lake here, just east of Calgary, Alberta. I asked them. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. No. Didn't want to offend anybody else. So I walked in the water myself. And after I did what I believed I was called to do, after my wife wanted me to go change, the sun came out. Wasn't that cold. The water, I went in to change, and he showed me clearly. Philip did not have to go back to Jerusalem, ask for Peter's permission or the other one's opinions. He just did it. The Ethiopian eunuch already knew some things, and maybe already done. How many times is Solomon baptized? You know what the answer is? Well, how many wives did he have? They had to go through the mikvah tank every time. I think you're just sticking with the Sunday group because maybe your wife is comfortable with that yet. Is that what the problem is here? And you think you're going to have the correct understanding about Pentecost? You haven't got in the water. How do you learn to swim? You haven't got on... just go back to your music. That's what your calling is. I can see it. I can see what's happening, Aaron. No, you don't want to call me. 403-830. I tried to call him and text him. No, he insisted it be done for email. I tried to email him. Okay? And then he turns around and says, oh, if anybody... Oh, he's fishing. He's got 153 fish. Okay, there's my number. My YouTube is under my name. Am I hiding? No, I'm not. They knew who I am. The Calgary police know who I am. when he found out when I was connected some with the Alberta Sheriffs, he gave me only a warning about jaywalking. No cross arms right at City Hall, and you're giving me a jaywalk ticking when the train is crossing, the cross arms by the mall are down. Okay, the traffic's already stopped. No washroom at the LRT like in New York, huh? They don't chain it off between the rail cars, nothing. And you're going to give me a jaywalk. I'll see you in court. He looked up my record, gave me a warning. You know why? Maybe he has a holiday time too, huh? Gonna have to tell his wife, oh, I'm supposed to be in court for this guy I gave a jaywalking ticket to, which he knows the judge might just throw it right out. Okay? So let me go. He gave the other lady a ticket. Yeah, they know how to get their brownie points. Get their due diligence done for the month. Okay. Sergeant. Head sergeant on the door. Sergeant of Arms called me from Edmonton, Alberta, over a political thing. I didn't even know what Sergeant of Arms was. Who called that? I think the lady is the same receptionist that the former premier of the province had. Just because you change an odd person doesn't mean everything changed. There's Mr. Donald Trump. Hey, how many Americans funnel stuff through the Canadian casinos? How many of them try to hide some of their income? The big problem is, A, the vice president could pardon them. Trump pardoned a preacher down in Missouri. He knew right well. Where was the rest of them? Like Martha Stewart and Conrad Black. I told my stepson, where's the rest of them? You think this is so honest and straightforward? He thought he was a big investor now, because I told him Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister, was patting his pocket on the medical marijuana. I said, you find out which ones the politicians are putting their money into. The other ones are all closed down. Razor wire around it. Why? They were growing medical marijuana. They're closed down. I know 3 of them closed down. The heating costs here was killing them. I know that. Maybe there's geothermal heating under Moncton to Brunswick, like Iceland. Okay? Okay? So now my stepson talks to me. Why? Where do you get the money for the Porsche car? What do you want to talk to me about? And he sold his townhouse here in Calgary, Alberta. What's happening in Toronto now? Do the preachers tell you? No. Come back from Ottawa. They complained about the streets of Ottawa. Yeah, well, they maybe had a bad winter. It's not so bad this year in Calgary, Alberta. Maybe the pavement didn't break up so bad. Pothole country like Saskatchewan, on the heavy gumbo soil of Regina, Saskatchewan, they should have built the town east on more sandy soil. We have gravel pits out there, but no, the railway decided to move the capital, the train station, a little bit further away. Why? Speculators bought it up at North Battleford. It was supposed to be across the other side of the river. Well, they just don't need to deal with these speculators. We just put it on our side of the river. Lots of history. Okay? Here, I wonder what they're going to tell us about TBN. The one guy, Messianic Jew, has it with the Christmas tree in the background. Really? I want nothing to do with the Christmas tree. It was my brother-in-law's house in New York. What am I going to do? Okay? They had the Christmas tree. He's Italian. Okay? Who's he work for? Ha. Yeah, big time. 2 American fellows questioned me. Good cop, bad cop, supposedly retired military. I asked the question about 9/11. How come tourist guys already bought the magazine, became instantly paranoid when I asked about building number 7? You know what? They just confirmed it to me. There's a lot more went on there than we're told. But the Calgary police officer, I already got his badge number. He wanted to know why I know that. And, hey, I says, in case you get nervous. He didn't get nervous. 2 UK police officers. One guy was maybe like an angel when 6 police cars swarmed me at the bank. He kept on stressing, do not go into the bank. Do not go into the bank. Hey, take your car home. Do not go into the bank. Next day there was a shooting in northwest Calgary. Bang, bang, bang. Young guy's dead. Where was the tasers? Oh, it doesn't happen in Canada, really? Medical? We have a great medical. Better pray that you don't go into a coma. The guy was taken off life support the same week, only in Canada. I thought this is they harvested his kidneys. I'd like to know who got the kidneys. Harvested his kidneys the same week. Really? Hey, my youngest son wasn't supposed to walk either. My ex-wife was crying about that. I looked at the doctor. I said, you don't even know what's going to happen in your own life tomorrow. I said, I'm going to believe the boy's going to walk. I learned about essential quality oils like myrrh and frankincense. There's a European standard on it. It ran down their beards. Not a little dab will do you. Okay, Mr. Preacher. What are you teaching? See? This is a lifetime of learning. We're all his children, Aaron. But you don't want to learn from somebody. I talked to you a little bit, but you told me only email. Sorry, Aaron, if I give you some static here. But go back to your music lessons. Make your wife happy. Pay the bills. Okay? It's expensive living down there probably too. Come out of the boat. My wife just went into the Hebrew Jewish boat with her beanies on and their Star of David. Like, can't they leave this alone? That's more occultic. It's more from Moloch, pagan wives of Solomon. But they don't want to leave it alone. I think Mark Blitz put the menorah up now. Good. Push into surrender. The Americans are not allowed to attack until they're attacked. They only attack the Houthis when they're escorting the convoy of merchant ships, when they happen to get the ship attacked, when they happen to have the stealth bomber flying overhead and got attacked. Is this what's going to happen with Iran? Either something happens, or maybe a false flag. Remember the Maine, and the ship went down, and they had the Spanish-American War. That's the American Constitution. They're not supposed to attack. We were at war 2 years before, and they didn't go to Japan. And the Japan, they knew that aircraft carriers were coming. Don't kid ourselves. The big aircraft was already pulled out. They put winches on. That's what they do in naval harbors. They turn the ships upright. They left one as a museum piece, probably damaged beyond repair. Okay? Okay. Come on. Not allowed to attack Iran until they're attacked. Well, is there going to be a false flag? Like something like 9/11? You weren't supposed to go to Afghanistan until you're attacked. And they conveniently found the passports. Do you actually believe this? It was on BBC News. I talked to the police officer. I said, you probably remember Ed as a kid in the UK. He didn't say anything more about these conspiracies. He knew. He knew that I knew. Trying to say they're all... I don't know all the ins and outs. But I believe there's something more with the Indian air flight than we're being told. They don't fire a missile to take out a previous Indian flight. We knew that was terrorism then. They're at war with Pakistan. Oh, yeah, there's issues there. The water, they're cutting off the water. Well, maybe they should use more drip irrigation developed by Israel. My uncle learned it. He was doing that with strawberries. Okay? Years and years ago. I should have went back and talked to my old uncle. It would have been a good thing to be on the strawberry and raspberry farm. Plumber contractor from the city snapped up the acreage real fast. My dad and other brothers sold the acreage real fast. Okay. They wanted to settle a state. Okay. Hey, maybe if I was living there, maybe I would have had it. My uncle he married a widower. The son said his mother was really happy with my uncle. Hey, my uncle had her for a housekeeper. Eventually married the lady. Okay. My grandmother married an old farmer. Troubles? Yeah. Troubles with the in-laws over the farm and stuff too. She eventually moved back from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan and looked after my other grandmother. My dad's age. I looked after my other grandmother because my older grandmother lost her leg. I never had any grandfathers. Oh, woe was me. Oh, woe was me. Well, flush it. Go on. Trump sends stern warning. Yeah. See, warning. Is there going to be a false flag? Maybe. Because the Americans not supposed to attack and they're attacked. You hear what I'm saying? 2 hours now. I gotta go here. Okay. Did they fudge the computer on that East Indian plane? I just happened to talk to a guy that grew up only 6 kilometers from that. Hey, I've been doing YouTubes, watching this, praying about this. My wife didn't even want to see the guy after she learned the guy grew up in Canada rather than the Philippines. Hey, if that plane had crashed in Canada or US, would we be more concerned? Oh, what's all we in some other country, Mr. American? Okay. Get out of pre-trib, Aaron. We'll talk to you later, Spy.